My question goes thus, Mr. President. With the coming in of the African Football League, you did make mention of that, and you'll be going for an economic forum. So, what then happens to the Total Energies CAF Champions League? Is there any future for the Total Energies CAF Champions League? Because, of course, the African Football League, the first edition was a success. We didn't hear of teams sleeping at the airport. Teams traveled on time, played games, the prize money was good. But then, is that a sudden death for the CAF Champions League?
Good question. I forgot to ask my brother from Cameroon, from Algeria, also asked a question. You know, I love football, and in the Cameroon, I most probably attended 95%, bro. 95% of the football matches, and I can tell you, I'm gonna watch. It makes me forget about those businesses that are losing money that I'm associated with. And in the past, it would make me forget about the overdraft, you know, for the 90 minutes, and then I'll think about it after the 90 minutes. So as I said to you, I'm going to Davos Sunday, and then Wednesday night I have to fly back because I need to watch Nigeria and Cote d'Ivoire. It's a special match. And then Thursday night I've got to go back, unfortunately, to Davos. I've got a meeting Friday morning with one of our big sponsors, and then after that I've got to rush back to watch Senegal and Cameroon. And then I'll basically watch as many of the games I watch. Going back to the African Football League, you've got to look at the African Football League within the context of what are we trying to achieve. And what we are trying, and let me immediately start with what is not positive, is you've got to be careful that you don't have the football players playing too many fixtures, too many matches. And the other thing is, you must also not undermine the professional football leagues in Africa. So I understand when some of the professional leagues are worried about the African Football League. I mean, you know, my family spends a hell of a lot of money. Since I'm president of CAF, you know, I've had to take several steps away. So we do want the professional football leagues in Africa to succeed and the clubs to make money. And we do want, I spoke about an African nation being champions of the World Cup, Nations World Cup. Part of our aim as well is we want an African club to be champions of the world. It's going to be tough. But for heaven's sake, if you can't set tough targets, then it's not worth it. So the African Football League, I need to give the member associations money. We need money for development. We need money for increase the prize money of the competitions. Al Ahly, Wydad, and all the other clubs on the continent that plays in the Champions League, they don't make money. They lose money. I understand it, I've been there long. So we gave every one of the clubs that participated in the African Football League, we gave them $1 million up front and said, use that $1 million to go buy players, but also use it to help you with the transport, because, you know, when I was president of Mamelodi Sundowns and they won the Champions League in 2016, I mean, the prize money was a pittance in comparison with the money that they paid. So we want to get the Champions League and the African Football League to make them more commercially viable and make sure that the clubs make money out of them. But the other thing that's very important as well is we may have to have the Confederations Cup cancelled. We've got to look at we can't have too many competitions. And the CHAN is a competition. The first few days when I became president, I said, cancel it. The CHAN is the competition where the nations play, but only players in Africa. And I'm not even sure that it makes sense, but leave that for a minute. So we have to review it, and many of the presidents came, we beg you, President, don't cancel the CHAN, because we cannot compete against the big nations, and this is an opportunity for us to get our football up to speed. So I want to conclude. The African Football League, immense success. The Champions League, we want it to be an even greater success. I'll be meeting with some of the people who sponsor some of those leagues in Davos, and I want more money from them. I want more money for prize money. I want more money so that the clubs can take it and spend on the academies, on the youth, and also, you know, the CAF staff. One of my objectives was we've got to pay the people who work in CAF and also the people who work in football clubs, give them a decent salary and pay them well.
I'd like to clarify, it's a follow-up question or to the answer you made earlier as regards the AFL and the CAF Champions League. You mentioned and said that you might have to cancel the CAF Confederation Cup, and also mentioned the possibility of you wanting to cancel the CHAN tournament, but the members nation came and you were able to solve that. I'd like to ask you clarification. Are you going to cancel the CAF Confederation Cup and allowing the AFL and the CAF Champions League to stand? And if so, what will be the qualification merit? Because previously, the first edition of the AFL, the teams were picked based on their history, based on their pedigree on the African continent. So what would happen to the qualification just in case you cancel the CAF Confederation Cup? Thank you.
Good question. Very good question. Now, I wasn't going to cancel the CHAN. This was one of the suggestions I was given by our advisors. And the same applies with the Confederations Cup. You know, we cannot and will not have too many competitions. Now, you come from a country that has produced some of the best football clubs in Africa. And I'm confident that we're going to see those great football clubs. Enyimba, Kanu, I mean, there's a whole lot of exceptional football clubs in Nigeria coming back to the fore. At this stage, it's just like the question that Mark Gleason was asking. What are you going to do with the date for the AFCON? You have to engage and make sure you get the best advice and do what's in the best interest of African football. The Champions League is excellent and we want to protect and promote it. And that's why I deliberately didn't put the prize money of the AFL, make it more than the Champions League, because I didn't want to create a perception that as at this stage, immediately, the AFL is above the Champions League. But I'm clear, you know, I'm not making money from the Champions League. I need the money to give to the member associations. I need the money for academies, for football development, to help with transport. And the same with the CHAN. I'm not making money out of it. And be careful. Our aim is not to make money to declare dividends, it's to make money and distribute it and give it to our members. I mean, Nigeria has got so much, I mean, Senegal. You can't have a country with such exceptional football players, and the football league, the professional football league, is not what we know it can be. So we are focusing on that to make sure that there's more money going into club football. And we don't want the club owners to say, but we participate in the Champions League and we lose money. It doesn't make commercial sense. You know, the ego and the glory and the excitement of winning the Champions League, if it goes with a huge financial deficit, doesn't make sense. So, excellent question. We are looking at these things. We will, you know, and they're not easy answers because you have to check with your sponsors as well. And some of the sponsors say, oh, you are doing such wonderful work. It's so confident. We know that for the first time, the money in CAF is not going to go into the pockets of officials. It's going into football. Beautiful. And I said, I like it. And then I said, give me more money. No. You know, these are difficult times and the global economy, I don't know. And worse than I've got an agreement. So I'm locked into an agreement for the Champions League, and I'm locked into an agreement with clubs for many years. And I've got to shock the system. I've got to shock the system. And part of shocking the system is start a new competition and say to all the others, do you see what this competition is doing? Now you give me more money for the competitions that you currently have in terms of your current sponsorship. Otherwise, I can assure you, when your contract comes to an end. And that's why I'm thankful to Saudi Arabia. I'm thankful to Kigali, the lady from Rwanda, so proud of Rwanda and all of the sponsors for the African Football League. You've got to challenge. And you mustn't challenge from a position of, I don't want to say position of poverty, but you mustn't challenge when you're weak because you've got no leverage. So you've got to give yourself leverage. With the new competition, remember we said the money from the AFL goes to the member associations. So an excellent question, and we're looking at all the competitions.